Hey, welcome back to Relax Radio. It's Relaks with none other than me, Nick, keeping you guys company on Real Talk all the way until 5 p.m. And hey, we were talking about a lot of these things that is happening in the UK. And yeah, one of these things that is actually happening in Scotland right now is that Nicola Sturgeon has promised to provide a transformational increase in the NHS funding if the SNP wins the election. So speaking as she launched the party's manifesto, Ms. Sturgeon said frontline NHS spending would increase by at least 20% over the next 5 years. So she said it will total up to 2.5 billion pounds. That's a lot of money that she's investing. She's essentially trying to invest into the NHS because it made her realize, I guess, that the pandemic and all the situation that is happening right now in the UK is very pressing indeed. And this is one of the reasons why she, as the SNP leader, she repeated her call for an independence of a referendum to be held within the next parliamentary term. But she also added it would be a dereliction of duty to do so during the pandemic. So the manifesto also promises a 10 billion pound investment program in the NHS's facilities and a minimum of 25% rise in mental health spending. Because one of the things right now, what the UK people in Scotland, people in Wales, Northern Ireland are all facing is because after this whole restriction scene, the whole lockdown situation happening in the UK, people are going to be mentally upset. There's going to be a lot of anxiety. There's going to be a lot of depression, and people are always going to be a lot of stress. And she's looking at that point of view, and she's saying, hey, I'm going to increase the rise in the mental health spending sector because of this, because of the issues that are related with this, with the youth, especially when it comes down to social anxiety, people, not being sure anymore whether it is right for them, what, especially with the environment around them. Like people are not sure and they're very unsteady footing to go back into society again after the lockdown was forced onto them. It's just one of the reasons why she wants to spend this much on mental health and in the NHS facilities. So in a video speech to coincide with its publication, Ms. Sturgeon said the coronavirus pandemic had turned life upside down as we know it. But she also said her party was putting forward unashamedly the optimistic proposals that would build a better nation rather than return to things how they were before. And she described the manifesto as a serious program for serious times. So Ms. Sturgeon said if the SNP is reelected, we will use our experience to undertake a full-scale post-pandemic remobilization of the NHS. So that's right. So she says, in investment in the NHS is already at record levels, but the pandemic has placed exceptional pressures on the NHS, and that requires an exceptional response. So over the next parliament, we will increase the frontline NHS spending by at least 20%, and this will deliver an additional 2.5 billion pounds for frontline health services, and is almost double what an inflation-only increase would amount to. So this is what they're trying to do. And in case you guys are wondering, what is this whole thing that I'm talking about? Why am I talking about elections? Well, Scotland's elections. What's happening in Scotland? Well, on 6th of May, people across Scotland will vote to elect 129 members of the Scottish Parliament, which is the MSPs, and the party that wins the most seats will form their major governing body. So what powers will these guys have? Well, the MSPs basically pass laws on the aspects of life in Scotland, such as the health sector, the education, the transports, and have some power over tax and the welfare benefits of the people and their community. So who can vote? Well, anyone who lives in Scotland is registered to vote, and aged 16 or above on 6th of May is eligible, and they are allowed to vote. So if you are looking to vote responsibly, you better make sure you know who you're voting for. So the First Minister admitted that her government had made mistakes in response to the COVID-19, but insisted that they had learned from all of these mistakes. So she added, like a year ago, they had to act really fast without the knowledge of this whole pandemic situation and the virus, and without any benefit of the hindsight that we have now. Because right now we learn from experience. We know, hey, this is a virus. This is how it spreads. This is what we should do to fight the virus. And back then they didn't really know what the exact procedure is. Now they're armed with this knowledge. And she's saying, it's the combination of commitment and experience that I believe is so vital for these times. So yeah, the party's other key manifesto pledges include an additional 500 million pounds to support new green jobs and reskill people for the jobs of the future. So yeah, she wants to invest in all of this, and she wants to invest in new people skills, new jobs, opening up all these green jobs that are not going to be using a lot of these fossil fuels, and investments of 33 billion pounds in infrastructure projects over the next 5 years, and build 100,000 more affordable homes over the next decade. So yeah, she also wants to freeze the rates of income tax throughout the next parliament, and also a young person's guarantee of either a university or a college place, an apprenticeship, a job, training, or working experience placement, or a formal volunteering program. So she's planning to do all of this. So most of the things what she's trying to do, like when it comes to mental health, when it comes to education, when it comes to all of this, building houses, mostly for the younger generation. She's trying to appeal to the younger generations, and she's promising them all of this and saying, hey, listen, if you vote for me, if we win, we promise you we'll give you a place in a university or in a college, an apprenticeship, a job, training, working experience placement. All of this will be provided to you with us. So yeah, the other thing that she says is that you double the value of the Scottish child payment from £10 per week for every child in a low-income family to £20 per week. That is something, that she's appealing to the people, especially to these low-income families. And she also wants to extend the free bus travel to under 22s and bring the ScotRail back into the public ownership. So yeah, Mrs. Sturgeon also said that her government would move forward towards what is known as a minimum income guarantee. And she also said, that the first step would often be to establish independently assessed minimum income standards. And Ms. Sturgeon also added, we will then identify the extent to which we can use our existing powers over Social Security, and as well as our investments in fair work, childcare, public service, to ensure that people meet these income standards. So yeah, this is all what the SNP is planning, and they plan to increase all their expenditure when it comes to the NHS, and at least 2.5 billion pounds over the next 5 years will go towards the £2 billion minimum promised by the Conservatives. So there is no doubt, though, that this would be a significant uplift. This is going to boost up almost twice the rate of inflation, but it is nothing for money. It's not nothing for money. It's not about money. It's about the SNP. They want to work the NHS to work harder, to increase treatment activities by 10% compared to the pre-pandemic levels, to help clear these big backlog of cases caused by the COVID. In case you guys don't know about this whole backlog, it's because of the surge of infections and rate of infections that is happening right now in the UK is what is causing a lot of these non-urgent treatments. So almost 4.2 million operations are on hold because of COVID-19, because of the pandemic. And a lot of these people are getting pushed back and not being able to get the treatment that they deserve. So to achieve that and to meet the rising costs of healthcare, plus a 4% pay rise for many health workers, increased spending on mental health, and the abolition of charges for dentistry, the NHS will have no trouble spending even more money. So by prioritizing the NHS in its plan for recovery from the pandemic, the SNP is aligning itself with the public service that is popular with and highly valued by the Scottish voters. So on a second referendum, Ms. Sturgeon also said that it's going to be very vital that people who live in Scotland were able to decide the future that they want. And hey, this is the kind of future I think any person, any sane person would want to have. I mean, it's just another day like this. I mean, when it comes to she's focusing on all of the good points, but there could be also bad points that she's not really addressing at the moment. We never know. Let's see how it goes, as time goes by and as the election comes closer. We'll find out more after they hopefully, once they win the election. We'll never know what happens, whether they're going to keep their promises, but hopefully they're people of their words, and let's see how that goes at the end of the day. But with that being said, though, it is about that time of the day for me to head on out of here and make way for my buddy Tim, who's going to keep you company on the buzz, keeping you all buzzing all the way. So make sure you guys keep it locked right here on Relaks Radio. And with that, my name is Nick, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, same frequency. Adios.